All right. So we're going to talk about slandering and narcissism because I woke up from this crazy fucking dream and I felt compelled, to be honest. So basically, there's this interesting thing that happens within the dynamic of the narcissist empath relationship. And we all kind of know, right? Like the empath, they're all feelings, right? And they're all selfless. So they will do whatever they can in their power to help others, right? Like that's kind of their thing. They're like, let me help, let me help, let me help, let me help. And then we've got the narcissist who is always like, I need help, I need help, I need help, I need help, right? So then this dynamic forms where it's like they meet each other on this frequency, right? And well, once the abuse gets started and the narcissist knows that the stories are coming to light or whatever, the narcissist does something kind of fucking hilarious, right? They play the victim. They're like, oh, well, she hit me. And they won't tell you that they threw her across the room for like 3 fucking hours before she finally had the audacity to punch this motherfucker in the face, right? You know, they don't tell you that. They don't tell you all the things that led up to it, right? Because it's within the narcissist nature to protect themselves, right? So they'll sit there and find ways to justify their actions, to shift blame, and then they have like this flying monkey thing where they slander the victim so hard that nobody wants to listen to the victim, right? And then there's something that the empath does, right? And here's the toxic trait of the empath is that when when shit starts coming to light, instead of trying to get all their side of the story, they start justifying the actions of the narcissist. They start saying, well, I don't think he meant it, and or she meant it, and they probably had to, like, they were drunk or they were tired or and then they find ways to justify what just happened to them, right? Because as the empath, it's still their job in their mind and in their heart to take care of the narcissist, right? And so there's like this fucked up dynamic where both are like, oh, well, the narcissist is the victim here, right? And so like, and just a victim of the empath existing, right? And so then the slander happens, right? And here's a good way to discern the difference between slander and somebody telling you a story that has occurred within their life, when somebody starts telling you about something that has happened in their life, they talk about only events that they were there for, right? When a narcissist starts slandering somebody, they start finding any possible thing that they can to, they'll lie. They'll throw out like scenarios and all that. They'll take a tidbit of the truth and then they'll just fucking bombard lies and lies and lies and compile that. And it gets so bad that eventually the empath is just sitting there like, well, what the fuck did I do? And they're like, but I actually didn't, do all these things. But then everybody's like, well, we heard and we heard and we heard. And it's like, so you heard something from somebody whose word means nothing, right? Somebody who literally will lie to and about anybody, right? This is that same scenario that if somebody will gossip to you, they'll gossip about you. Well, that's narcissistic, to constantly be gossiping about other people, right? Talking about shit they weren't even there for, right? So then they can blow it up to however they want it to be like, right? And it's all part of the gig, they turn the empath family and friends against them. They want to make sure that the empath has zero support system, right? The number one rule of abuse is isolate, right? Then control the money, right? So when you see somebody isolating another person and controlling their money and trying to do, those types of things, that's narcissistic abuse. And I love empaths. I love you guys so much. This is kind of frustrating though on the side of somebody who fights for you, because you never tell your side of the story, right? And because every time you try to tell your side of the story, it gets so blown into the most stupid circus bullshit you've ever heard, and you're like, whatever, like, fucking have your bullshit stories, I don't care, you know? And somebody needs to hear your story, because, and you know what, it was actually a cop who told me this, who told me, you know, we could tell immediately who the abused victim is and who the abused victim is not, because both will be, you know, talking about how they were the victim in some way, right? But when it comes down to brass tacks, who's defending whom? You know, because the abused victim, the actual abused victim, will always defend their abuser because they have a trauma bond, right? They're always like, oh, I don't want anything bad to happen to them, da 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 da. Whereas the narcissist will always defend themselves and justify their own actions because they don't want to get in trouble, and all they care about is hurting the empath, right? And it's kind of sadistic and fucked. But you know, it's like, sorry, my child's over there watching his videos. But, and he needs to know this too for the future, okay? The children need to know. But yeah, so basically, everybody sets out to protect the narcissist, right? And this is how the cops really fucking pinpoint it, because then they'll go to the empath person, you know, and then to the victim, and they'll be like, okay, I want to hear your side of the story, and they'll tell their side of the story, right? And flawlessly, no jump in from story to story, da da da, you know. Whereas the narcissist will always be like, the empath did this, and they did that, and and I wouldn't have had to do this if they didn't do da 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 da. And then, you know, and it's like they just start justifying and trying to protect themselves, right? And they think that they're so fucking not see-through, right? They think, because narcissists are like the combination of a sociopath and a psychopath. So they actually don't understand empathy, right? They don't actually feel like, they don't really feel, you know, it's kind of fucked up to think about, but it's like, it's true. It's all that they feel is very self-serving kind of shit. It's just, it's very primal, like, basic survival shit, like, eat, sleep, fuck, you know, like, whatever. And so, basically, like, they don't understand that, like, people can feel their vibes, that people can, like, pick up on those social cues and all that, because they don't do that, you know, they don't have that in them. They're, like, blocked off. Like, two empaths could be in a room having a full ass conversation in silence, you know, and the narcissist will be completely oblivious because they understand energy, they understand the flow, they feel things, right? The narcissist does not feel things, so they think that their stories are enough. They think that they can't be seen through. They think, you know, and cops, I mean, as much as a lot of people are like, oh, I hate cops, well, the ones that I've known, the ones that I've dealt with personally, were very empathetic souls, right? People who are really good at picking up on little cues and really able to discern, like, okay, this is how it be like, you know? And, I mean, I don't know, I've had a lot of friends that were cops, and a lot of people who've helped me along the way that were very, like, in tune with the nature of this, but typically your friends and family won't be, right? So, and then they'll be like, well, if they're so bad, why do you keep going back? Well, because of love bombing, okay? Because of trauma bonding. There's, like, a whole fucking, like, thing that happens inside of your fucking brain where it's like, Like, the empath always feels like, I just need to save them. I just need to protect them. I just need to help them. They're so hopeless. But the thing is, they're not, right? Because, like, the second you actually do have the audacity to up and leave, guess what? Their third party partner comes in like 2 days fucking later and it is all up in your house, living in or sleeping in your fucking bed, right? And then and then they move on, right? They're totally fine. They just get a new source of energy. They like go, they work their ass off. They get their own, like, they know how to fucking take care of themselves. Even if they pretended this whole time, I couldn't get a job, I needed you to take care of me financially. Well, then all of a sudden, they're able to get jobs. They're able to get cars. They're able to take care of themselves. And you're like, like, where was this? Where was this before? And so, it's like, and I mean, if you know anything about psychology, it's really fucking easy to pick up on who's who in whatever scenario, right? But then we have this thing with our friends where we don't want to see it in our friends, right? So we'll do anything to not see narcissistic traits in our friends. We're like, but they were good to me, they were nice, and da 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 da. Here's the thing. You get a version of the narcissist that their partners will never ever get, right? Where you get all the love, all the bonding, all the cool shit, like, you get all that. And then their partner is the one that gets used and abused and hurt and slandered and then they pit people against each other, just not because they need to, but because it's fun for them. It's fun for them. They think it's a game and they want to win, and it's like, nobody's playing this fucking game but you, bro. Like, there is no winning. What are you talking about, right? And it's like, it's a whole motherfucking thing, right? And you know what? Narcissism may have been able to help you get to success, in the past, or like even in the recent past. We see all these videos about, take on all these narcissistic traits and you'll be successful. Well, yeah, because the world is run by narcissists, right? And I just feel like within this shift that's happening and with all this awareness that's happening and all this shit, like, I feel that time is coming to an end, right? Like, empaths outnumber narcissists, okay? And eventually, what happens to an empath is they get abused so much, they get put through all this shit so fucking much that you activate something inside of them, right? You activate their internal energetic shield that just fucking pops out of their heart chakra and starts blocking shit. Like, starts throwing shit back at you. Starts doing, they start performing magic without even fucking realizing it, because they have to start protecting themselves. Nobody helped them. Nobody tried to protect them. Nobody ever, they have to become the Prince Charming of their own fucking story. And if you guys need help learning how to do that, how to activate your shit to protect your shit, let me know. I got you. Activate your chakras. Stand in your truth. Always stand in your truth. Okay, because here's the thing. Truth prevails, right? Love prevails, right? Empaths are made out of love. And when they speak truth, like, that truth is stronger than the bullshit lies and slander that the narcissist is throwing out. Have you ever met somebody who could just never look anybody in the eyes? But they are always fucking talking, right? And they're always looking around like, they can't do it because they're so full of shit. They don't want you to see, right? They think the only way you could see that they're full of shit is through their eyes, and they don't realize that it's in their actions. They don't realize that it's in their shifty behavior. They don't realize that they emit it. They admit that they're full of shit. And an empath, especially a very experienced one, can pick up like that. Like, oh, you're full of shit. learn body language, okay? When you start learning about body language and like, I mean, 80% of our language is body language. So when you learn about that shit, you learn how to discern who is fucking who in what story, right? And I mean, it's kind of a beautiful fucking thing. It's kind of fucking awesome, to be honest, when you finally just, whatever, I don't need that. I myself have been surrounded by narcissists since I was a kid, right? And, and I mean, I guess I should give you some backstory on me and how I grew up, because maybe this will help you understand why I'm so fucking passionate about this purpose here and like what I do, like trying to talk to people and help people. My mom married a very racist, like very conservative man when I was like 6. And I'm mixed, right? Me and my brother, we're mixed, so we're very dark complected. And then here we are walking around with like 2 white parents, right? And people were like, "Ugh, they must be like the trophy adopted kids or whatever." It was stupid. And but basically, yeah, my stepdad was pretty abusive. He always, like, made it seem like he could never get a job, so my mom had to work, like, 3 fucking jobs to take care of a family of 6. And, I mean, like, he just, day in, day out, fucking beating our asses, putting us through, whatever bullshit he could. I'm not going to go into depth about all that. I don't feel like I need to judge up all of it for you to understand why I would be passionate about this. My mom, she escaped once when I was 7, after a really traumatic, like, she's caught him smothering us with pillows, right? And so after that, she was like, "Oh, I'm fucking done," and so she leaves, runs off, gets into a shelter for battered women, and we're there for a while, and then the trauma bond sets in, right, for everybody, and then we're all kind of like, well, I miss home, I miss life, da-da-da, and then we start romanticizing the good stuff, because it's been a long enough time that we start kind of pushing aside the trauma, and pushing aside the bad shit, right? And I mean, this happens so fucking much that it's like, it's sad. And I see it in my own friends, and I'm like, oh God, just get out of there, bro. Just go. Like, just go. Like, but, everyone's got to do shit their own way. I get it. And so, like, basically, we ended up going back. And he was worse, right? Because when you go back, they're like, I got away with it. What? And I get my whole family back? And I get to do this all over again? What? They get stoked about that shit. They're like, let me just, oh wait, turn that down. And then they're just like, let me just beat the shit out of them all over again, and just like, the whole cycle starts all over again, right? First the love bombing to get you in, and then it's like, then the bomb bombing comes in, and you're like, oh fuck. We're in deep. And then it wasn't until, 4 years later, after she had left and come back, that he ended up beating up my brother right in front of her. Usually he waited until she was at work, and then anytime we'd go and try to say, well, he did this and this and this, she'd be like, oh, well, it sounds like he was just disciplining you, and da-da-da, and kind of throwing the narrative into us that started justifying the behavior of the abuser. And this is not my mom's fault, right? I love my mom, I'm not blaming her. This is actually just something that psychologically happens to abuse victims, right? Where they're like, well, I don't think it was like da-da-da, and I mean, yeah, so he was that guy. And then typically what happens when you grow up around narcissists like that, because eventually we ended up leaving again, skipping state, like a whole thing. But what happens is then the children end up in narcissistic relationships, end up dealing with similar fucking shit, right? It's the cycle, and it starts again, and then we find our abuser again, and all these other different fucking faces, and then you're back at it, then you're back to surviving. It's like that Eminem song, snap back to reality, and it's like, because we fall for the love bombing. We're like, oh yeah, this is familiar. This is normal to us because we grew up in it, and so it becomes a whole motherfucking thing. But basically, if you have kids and you're in cycles, fucking get them in therapy, okay? Like, get your ass out of there. It's no longer about you, okay? It's no longer about you and your narcissist at that point. It's about your fucking kids, okay? The things that came out of your body, like, you have to protect them. Because even if they're just a witness to it, even if they're just sitting in the other room, hearing it, what happens is they're being abused as well, right? If they're listening to their mom getting beat up and they can't protect their mom, it makes them feel helpless. It makes them feel scared. That is a whole other level of psychological abuse, right? To fucking expose children to that, right? To expose children to the abuse of their parent, right? The person that they're like, you're strong, you're protecting us, you're, so show your kids some strength and get the fuck out of there, okay? And I'm telling you this as a child of abuse. I'm telling you this as somebody who gives a fuck. Like, if the cycle starts, get the fuck out of there and don't turn back, right? Like, I don't care how much they slander your name. I don't care how much they try to pit your friends and your family against you. I don't give a fuck what they do, because real people will see right through their bullshit, okay? Then come to me. I'll see through their bullshit. And I'll slap them around. Like, fuck, But, dude, like, honestly, this is just, it's too scary to keep yourself trapped. And there are resources for you if you are in a situation, right? I have a lot of pamphlets. if you guys need any information, come to me, please. I am that person that I will do what I can to help you in your situation. There are shelters for battered women. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't have to go into one as a child, right? And they're fucking awesome, actually. It's not like a homeless shelter or anything. It's like a house that you go to where they can't find you. The police don't even know where this is. Like, it's so hidden. It's like, you're so protected because they don't know if your abuser was a cop or, whatever. So they make sure that nobody knows where this location is. And they set you up with clothes that are donated. They hook you up with childcare. They'll help you, like, get a job. They'll help you, they help. They do all this, shit. And I'm pretty sure they have shelters for men too, and that do the similar things. And if not, then we need to get on that, like now. But yeah, so, but basically, this is to help you end the cycle, right? It's no longer about your heart and how sad you are and how alone you are. Blah, 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 blah. Everyone's been sad and alone. You'll get over it, okay? This is about your children having a fucking chance at life, right? This is about your children not being thrown into the cycle of abuse also. Protect your kids, right? Before fucking anything, protect your kids. I know we can go through a lot and we'll justify it and we'll be like, well, it wasn't that bad and it wasn't this and da da da, and other people had it worse. Don't fucking minimize. Don't minimize your abuse because somebody else got abused worse than you, right? Because that will be you if you continue this minimizing and justifying and allowing, right? Enabling. Because, 30% of women who are killed by their spouse. Yeah. Yeah, bro. 30 fucking %. that's 1/3 of women who are killed by their partner. Okay? And oftentimes, kids are there. Okay? Think about that. And it's always the person that you never thought would take it that far, right? But they already took it so far before, and you just kept letting them push your boundaries. You didn't have boundaries, right? They didn't have limits on how much bullshit they could put you through. So you kept letting it happen. Well, dun 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 dun. Guess what? It could lead to death, okay? And you don't want to end up in that situation thinking like in the last moments of your life while they've got their hands around your throat like, well, I probably should have left last year. You know? No, it's, if you're dealing with shit, get the fuck out of there, okay? Save yourself, save your kids. Like, save your sanity. Yeah, I don't know why I was so fucking pumped for this. I feel like that somebody needs this message. I don't know who. Somebody fucking does. Because I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and I was like, I have to do it. I have to talk about this. I have to put this message out there because somebody fucking needs it right now. And I hope that whoever needs it hears it and also comes to me because I'm here for it. I'm here to talk. I'm here to help. I have resources. I know cops. You know, I could help. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to stop ranting and get back to my tarot. I just wanted to have that little interlude, I guess, between videos where I had this. But yeah, anyway, I love you all. Namaste. Have a great day.